features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome, we're looking for big cats in the African bush. This is Safari Live. Ready?
Standing by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
Welcome to sunny, or partly sunny, South Africa, and a huge welcome to Malibu Elementary School in the good old US of A. Great to have you on the back for your very own special school drive. Remember to send us as many questions as possible, and hopefully you're going to have lots of fun. At the moment, I'm busy tracking leopards. I'm hoping that we're going to find a female leopard with 2 babies. She disappeared into this area, but there's our first animal of the day. And oh, it's running fast. Can Jandre find it? And then of course I have the talented Jandre on camera who's following a running Steenbok. There we go. Oh, off it goes. So that is a little antelope, and it's not a baby, it's a big one, and it's going to try avoid the leopard we're looking for because that's one of her favorite foods. And it is very hot today. Oh, there's an impala. About 92 or 93 Fahrenheit. Now, this is our most common antelope here in South Africa. Oh, he doesn't like us either. He's also running away. Terrible creature. Come back. Stop. Don't be naughty. No, he's gone. Well, that was a male impala, and he's got horns. So, unlike the deer you get in the USA, like white-tailed deer, their horns fall off once a year. Our animals keep their horns their whole life unless they break them and they don't grow back. Oh, one of my favorite little critters. Oh, he went down a hole, but let's see if he pops up again. There we go. The smallest member of the family, or of the order, Carnivora in Africa, the dwarf mongoose. Social mongoose species. They live in groups of about 15 to up to 30 in some cases. In this area, normally about 10 to 20 in the group. Very, very alert little fellas, because when you're small out here, everything wants to make you a snack. Now we can only see one, but there'll be others around. Now they move through the bush foraging for scorpions, snakes, spiders, beetles. Oh, there's another one. And when they get a fright, they run into a hole to hide, and when they think it's safe, then they pop up again. Very, very fast, and you've got to be... Oh, back down the hole. Now, we're going to keep looking for this leopard, but of course we're not the only people looking for animals on this wonderful afternoon here in Africa. There are 2 others, and let's go meet the first, Jamie.
Hello and welcome to the Sunset Safari, and a very warm welcome to the students of Malibu Elementary. I hope you're all really very excited to go on safari. I hope you've got your sunblock on and your hats on and you're ready to go and see some wild animals. My name is Jamie, and the gentleman behind the camera, his name is Gert, which is a tough name to say if it's not a name that you're familiar with. And we'll all call him Gert. He's also known as Carrot, which is slightly easier for a lot of you to pronounce. Right, I want to show you something special, and they've just moved, so hold on one moment and we're going to catch up with them. Brent was explaining to you what the difference is between an antelope and a deer. Well, I have 2 antelope that are playing hide and seek with me this afternoon, but I want to try and show them to you because these 2 antelope are very, very special for a very special reason.
Copy. we're going to go check that area. Sorry about that. I was on the radio, organising my afternoon. We're trying to find those leopards. I'm trying to find out where the last footprints for those leopards were. 1 second. Copy, thanks. And, there's some impala. Are these ones not going to be joggity jog impalas? They're going to be hopefully stay impalas. Yes, they are. So it's the male impala, where we might be very lucky and see a little baby impala today. The females have been giving birth in the last week or so, so there's a good chance we might see a tiny impala. Hi, Katie. Katie is wondering, what is the difference between a gazelle and an antelope? Well, a gazelle is an antelope. A gazelle is a type of antelope. So an impala is an antelope, a gazelle is an antelope, a wildebeest is an antelope, a duiker is an antelope. Where'd that duiker go? I saw another antelope. Where did he go? A little one, not quite as small as the one we saw earlier. No, it's disappeared. Let's keep moving. Now, there is some water here, and it's been so hot, so maybe the leopards decided they were thirsty and went for a drink. Now, you've met Jamie, but you must remember we are live, so sometimes we do have a little technical difficulties. Hopefully that'll be fixed in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. But also, there's a very brave man walking about on foot. So let's go meet Byron.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the bushwalk for Safari Live. My name is Byron.
Coming back to us. Well, it seems like we're the only ones out here this afternoon. Hopefully all those problems get sorted quickly. I'm afraid I'm going to be with you in 1 second. And so I heard from Candace that they were in Dwarf access. I'm not sure exactly where, but at about 2:30. Okay, so we're coming up to the waterhole, and I said hopefully if it was really hot, some of the animals might come for a drink. Now when you see me hanging my head over the side of the car like that, it means I'm looking for footprints. But while looking for footprints, sometimes you find other creatures, and that's what I just did. Now hopefully I can find this thing again, because it is using camouflage. Oh dear. Did it hop, skip, and a jump away? It was a grasshopper that looked exactly like a leaf. Now, where was that? Let's have a look now. It was here. It just saw him jump. Things, the bugs, the birds, the leaves, the grass. Now, let's have a look. Hello, Gabriella. Gabriella would like to know how we tell cheetahs and leopards apart. Well, Gabriella, it's quite simple, really. One's got rosettes, which is basically a group of 3 spots with a darker area in the middle, and one's got spots. So the cheetah's got spots. Cheetah are also much more tall and elegant. Well, I suppose they're both very elegant. Oh, we've got another elegant creature. Gabriella, I haven't forgotten about you, but let's look. Oh, we've got some more. We've got lots of animals here. The kudu have just come for a drink. They're busy walking away at the moment. There we go. That's a young male kudu. He's still growing, but he's a very elegant antelope. And you can see all the birds on his body. Those are called oxpeckers. And what they do is eat all the bad bugs like ticks and fleas that are on the kudu, and so it's a mobile meal on wheels for the oxpeckers. There we go. Very pretty antelope. And, oh, he's going to get some more. He's full of oxpeckers. Incoming. There we go. Just landing. Beautiful little birds. Now, as I said, it's not all about the big things always. And someone just came to... No, don't go away. Oh, he escaped. Oh, he's going to land again. Come back here. There's a pretty bug. There we go. Oh. There we go. No! Oh. There we go. There's a little beetle. Now, what's really interesting about this beetle is it's what we call a mimic. So it pretends to be something it's not. So there's another type of beetle that's called a meloid or a blister beetle that has black and yellow spots on it, and when he's on you, he sprays formic acid and it causes burns on your skin. Oh, there he goes. But that little one, like that, he might look... Whoa, he's coming back. Form. He might look like a meloid, but he's not. So he's pretending to be dangerous so the birds don't eat him. But now, I said it's not all about the big things, but now we've got something very big to show you. Look at that. It's a hippopotamus. And he's also got an oxpecker. It's a male hippo who's not looking in too good a shape. We're coming towards the end of one of the worst droughts, and there we go. He's got some wounds on his back from fighting with other hippos, and what that oxpecker is doing, you should actually, a better name for an oxpecker is, because they also eat blood. They should be called vampire birds, because they will basically open up wounds on these animals and drink their blood. And then you see there's little heads moving around his head. That's a little reptile called a terrapin. I think in America you call them turtles. And they also can be quite a pain for something like a hippo, because if he's got an open wound that's under the water, they'll bite it, but they'll also try and eat the ticks that might be on the hippo as well. Okay, look at that. Isn't that absolutely fantastic? Well, we're going to sit here for a little bit. I'm going to try and listen to see if I can hear where the leopards might be. While I do that, let's go try say hello to Byron again.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the bushwalk. Let's hope our signal works now. My name is Byron, and on camera with me this afternoon is VM. So we're busy walking around, trying to look for some of the smaller creatures that we might find on a bushwalk. You never know, we could bump into some of the bigger animals too, but maybe find a few little insects, and I've managed to find one over here. Let's hope it stays very, very well camouflaged. So I'm going to go down slowly and point it to you. Beautiful little grasshopper just over there. Can you see that? Look at that. Very, very beautiful. So these are the types of little insects that we try to look for when we are walking in the bush, but we do have to be very aware and constantly keep a lookout for other animals, because we do often bump into animals out here. You can imagine it's a very different experience when you're walking and you don't have the safety of the vehicle. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those beautiful colors in that grasshopper. So well camouflaged. As I mentioned, we'll try and see what else we can find, and we try to look in odd little areas you wouldn't normally look in, and like an area like this, I've found a little hole in a tree just over here, and I wonder what could possibly be living inside here. Now, something this size, you could possibly get little squirrels that live inside here, perhaps. This hole may have been started by a bird of sorts, and the bird has probably moved out, and maybe other animals like I said, squirrels, maybe even snakes live inside here. And this little hole looks quite hollow. So this section of the tree has been hollowed out, and all the way down it's very, very hollow. So anything that wanted to live in there could have a lot of good shelter and safety inside a tree like this. I'm trying to look in, but I don't see anything. You never know. You could stick your head in and something comes out. But it doesn't look like anything is in there at the moment. So we're going to continue on our walk. We're walking in a beautiful area. So we will keep our eyes out for little interesting creatures, maybe some birds. But while we continue, let's head back to Brent and see if he has an update for us on the leopards.
Now, the reason a hippo likes to lie in the water is because it protects him from the sun. And as you can see, there's not much water about at the moment. Well, Juliana is wondering how heavy can a hippo get? And a big male hippo can be in the region of 5,000 pounds, Juliana, so a really massive animal. All the bugs are attacking me today. But as you can see, this guy's not in the best condition. And the reason he's by himself and he doesn't have any girlfriends around is because it looks to be an older male, and the males will defend groups of females quite aggressively. So the males will generally be, the dominant males will be with groups of females in bigger bits of water where there's water left. And these young males or old males are pushed to these single little ponds that are not actually ideal. And Mrs. Frederick was wondering how I could tell that it was a male. Mrs. Frederick, it's also just the sheer size of the animal. Females are noticeably smaller than males. And you can see he is alive. If you watch his nostrils, you can see. Now, hippos can only hold their breath underwater for just about 5 minutes. They also can't swim. Now, that sounds strange. An animal lives in the water who can't swim. Yeah, so they run along the bottom and they have to get to shallow areas to breathe. So they can't swim in a traditional sort of way of swimming. Now, there's lots of different African folklore about hippos, and if you have a look at this hippo, you see those spots on it, it looks like he used to have hair. Now, there's an old Zulu fable that it's called When Hippo Was Hairy. Now, Hippo didn't always used to live in the water. He used to live out in the bush with all the other animals, and he had the most beautiful coat. He was the best looking animal in the whole of Africa. But he was a very boastful and nasty animal. And because he was big and beautiful, he used to bully all the other animals. And he used to say, look how pretty I am, look how pretty I am, you must get me this, you must get me food, I'm just going to lie here, I'm too beautiful to do anything. And he carried on and on, till eventually some of the animals got upset. And the jackal, which is like your coyote, I suppose our African equivalent of, which is quite a smart animal, eventually got so tired of the hippo being boastful and bullying all the other animals. So the hippo found Jackal, pushed him into a corner, said, you will go get me food or I'll chomp you in half. Because of course hippo have very big teeth for fighting. And the Jackal said, yes, my lord, of course I will. Went and got him some food, some nice marula fruit, some nice grass, and eventually the Jackal said he had had enough of this. So he said to the hippo, oh, it's getting dark soon. It's going to be cold. Should I steal some fire from the man village to keep you warm? Because that's how the men keep warm. And the hippo said, yes, my good servant Jackal, that is a very good idea. I don't want to be cold in this winter's night. And what Jackal did is he stole some fire from the people's village, and instead of making a fire for the hippo, he set the hippo alight. And the hippo's long, beautiful coat burst into flames, and he had to run to the closest river, and he dived in to the river. And when he came out and he looked at his reflection in the mirror, he realized without the hair he was the ugliest animal in all the bush. And so since then he's always lived in the water, trying to hide most of his body from the other animals. You can see how ugly he is now, because of all his hair being burnt off, and that's why hippos only come out of the water at night to eat food, because they're too embarrassed and they don't want the other animals to see how ugly they are. So there's a nice little Zulu folklore story for you guys. We're going to keep moving and keep looking for leopards. Braylon is asking, did something attack that hippo? Indeed it did, Braylon. It was another hippo. So hippo bulls, the males, they fight very, very aggressively against each other for mating rights to females and for good spots of water. Oh, this is interesting. What have we got here? Let's have a look. They've got some vultures. They're flying quite fast and they're dropping. Now, when you see vultures like that, you always want to watch them because they might lead us to a kill. Oh, they could just be coming for a drink of water or trying to catch a thermal. So we want to see if they go land on a tree. Okay, let's keep up with those vultures. Hi, Kingston. I'm just going to drive a bit faster so I can see where those vultures land. Kingston would like to know, is a hippo's main predator a crocodile? It is not, Kingston. A hippo's main predator is actually lions. Crocodiles who live in the water with the hippos actually get killed by hippo if they get too close to the young babies, but a big hippo is far too big even for a very big crocodile. So those vultures are dropping very fast. I wonder if there are lions there. Oh yeah, well, I rush to see if I can find some lions. Hold on! Let's go see what Byron's up to.
Now we've managed to find a little bird while we're on our walks, and have a look up this little dead branch or the dead tree right at the top. Oh no, there it goes. It's called a dear, it's flown off. It's flown off. So, Mrs. Frederick's class, good afternoon to all of you. Hope you are having a lovely morning. I'm sure, I think it's morning where you are now. And you want to know, are the squirrels that we have like the squirrels you have back home? So they're similar in terms of they're part of the squirrel family, but I think our squirrels in this area, the little tree squirrels we have, are a little bit smaller than the squirrels that you have, but they are very, very similar, and they're all part of the squirrel family. We've got other squirrels in South Africa too, down in Cape Town, down in the southeastern part of South Africa, southwestern part of South Africa, and those squirrels are a lot bigger, and I think some of them have been introduced, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they come from America originally. So those squirrels are very much similar to the ones that you have. Much bigger, slightly red in color. And these little tree squirrels that we get out here, very, very small, and they live in those little holes, perhaps like that little hole in the tree that I showed you earlier. Michaela, you want to know, is it easy to find footprints or tracks in the bush? It's not always very easy, Michaela, but sometimes what we do is we'll come to a big path, something like this that we've got over here, and we'll just walk very, very slowly and carefully and have a look for any signs of animals. Often they cross a road or they'll cross a big path. It might be easier for us to see them. So we do have to look very, very carefully, but yes, it can be possible to find little tracks of animals walking around. Now, something else that I've seen and I managed to pick up then that I wanted to show you was this. Have a look at this beautiful, beautiful little shell. Can you believe that we get a shell like this out in Africa, in the middle of the bush? Now, this shell is from something called a giant land snail, and it's one of the largest snails in the world, or land snails in the world rather. This one unfortunately has died, possibly because of the dry conditions, but judging by the size of the shell, it reached a full adult life, and I'm sure that it probably just died from old age. But isn't it incredible to find a beautiful shell? And after a while, usually the shell is brown when the snail is still alive inside, but after a while it starts turning this white coloration, which is really, really interesting. And sometimes it's because the snails do feed on carrion or dead meat. They might feed on dead meat and sometimes bone, and the calcium and the phosphorus in the shell itself starts turning this white color. Something else that I found that is very interesting is a little dung beetle. Unfortunately, this little dung beetle is dead. Let me show you. And I'm not sure what happened to him. It looks like he's been picked at by a bird, perhaps. Maybe a bird tried to catch and eat him. But most of the shell is still intact, which is very, very interesting. And this is a small dung beetle, but the wonderful thing with dung beetles is we've got many different species. So you do get ones much, much smaller than this, and also ones much bigger. And this is just one, and you can see his head there too. Beautiful dung beetle, and the dung beetles are very, very important for this area. Beetles, the role that they play is to get rid of all the dung from all so probably from elephant or buffalo, all the dung that's left behind. They roll the dung up and carry it away, bury it, and they eat some of the dung because that is all broken up grass. So they're very, very important to have around. And Kaylin, you wanted to know what the snail's predators are. So sorry, Braylon, you wanted to know what the predators are for these little snails. Now, a snail like this, probably the only predators would be birds, large birds that walk around, and if they find them, they'll probably pick at them and break the shell and try eat the snail on the inside. I haven't seen anything else really feed on these giant land snails. You might get other little creatures, maybe a mongoose or something, trying it out, but generally it's birds. So Michaela, you want to know how big can these snails get? Now this is about full grown, maybe a little bit bigger, and you can see against the size of my hand how big this shell is. So that is very, very large, but they can get a little bit bigger. I have seen some that are a little bit bigger, but this is almost full grown. That's almost full grown, just to give you an idea. So it's very, very big for a land snail all the way out in the bush. No, Jordan, not every type of snail will fit into the shell. It's only a species of snail. It's not any different type of snail. Many different snails are found around the world, and they will grow their own shells, and they will grow to different sizes, not always as big as the giant land snail. We're walking in a little bit of a clearing, which is lovely because we get to have a look around a little bit more for perhaps some animals that might be in this area too. And I've got some signs of animals that have been in the area, but quite a long time ago. And this is elephant dung. So this comes from elephant, and I can see that because of all the plant material. So the elephants eat trees and grass and bark, and you can actually see some of the grass and that in the elephant dung over here. But this is very, very old. This is very, very old, and I'm hoping that we can find some elephants around. Perhaps that would be wonderful. But this is old dung. I don't know exactly how old, but it's very, very dry, and that's a good sign that it's old. This elephant walked past here probably a few weeks ago, not any time soon. And let us continue. And Katie, you want to know why do I carry a stick? It's for safety in case I get into trouble. No, I'm joking. I like carrying a stick, Katie. It's if I find something and I want to point it out to VM maybe, or if I want to lift something up with a stick, it just helps me a little bit, and I enjoy walking with something in my hands. Oh, and here's another piece of dung from an animal we might be looking for around here. And this is zebra dung. Have a look at that. Now this is from a zebra. And zebra dung is very easy to identify. It looks, we call the shape, looks kidney shaped almost, or like a bean shape, but it's quite big. Can you see that? And this is from a zebra. And this is also just grass that the zebras feed on. But this, just like the elephant dung, is very, very dry and not fresh at all. Gabriella, you wanted to know, are the elephants vegetarians? So Gabriella, with the animals, we actually use a different term. We say they are herbivores. Now the herbivores, that means that they eat plant material, so grasses, leaves of trees, bark or branches, all herbivores. We've got many different areas. And the signs of two that we've seen in this, obviously, which is a herbivore too, but that's where elephant will eat meat,
So we've rushed into the area where all these vultures and eagles have been landing, and we are searching for carnivores, meat eaters. And of course, as Byron was just saying, elephants are herbivores. So there we go, that's a tawny eagle. I don't know whether the vultures got confused when they saw some eagles and they thought, wow, maybe there's a free meal, let's go have a look. But I'm seeing quite a lot of tawny eagles, lesser spotted eagles, and I can't see any kill on the ground. Oh, coming off the ground. What was that? Oh, it's a lesser spotted eagle. It's that dark one. Flying low, going up now. Oh, there's going to be a bird fight. Here we go. So that eagle just came off the ground. It's the first lesser spotted eagle I've seen this year. So those are migrants. Raylan is wondering, how do I know what birds are male or female? Well, it's very difficult to tell. Normally female birds, especially in the eagles, are bigger than the males. And that's because they've got to produce eggs and they need more calcium. Michaela is wondering, how do we know if a bird is hunting for prey? Well, Michaela, they are opportunists, so if there's an opportunity, they will take it. But what we were looking for now was actually vultures, and they don't hunt, they scavenge. They look for something that's dead, and then they land and eat it. But I think the vultures got confused by all the lesser spotted eagles that have just arrived. These guys have come as far from as Mongolia away. So, alas, I don't think there's a kill in this area. I think the vultures got confused by all the eagles. Okay, well, let's continue to see if we can find those leopard tracks. Hi, Raylan. Raylan would like to know, what do eagles eat? Well, they eat lots of different things. Scrub hares to rats, mice, insects, snakes, and in some cases even baby antelope or small antelope like that Steenbok we saw at the beginning. And they've got a very varied diet. They eat other birds as well. It all depends on the type of eagle. Michaela's wondering, what kinds of eagles do we get? Okay, you ready, Michaela? We'll start with the true eagles, like the ones we've just been seeing. And some of them we only get for 5 months of the year during our summer, like the lesser spotted eagle, the steppe eagle, the booted eagle, the Warburg's eagle. And then our resident eagle species, we have the tawny eagle, African hawk eagle, and brown snake eagle, batalier, black-breasted snake eagle, martial eagle. Am I missing any eagles? Fish eagle. We're on 11. Have I forgotten one? Possibly a crowned eagle. 12. I think that's about it. About 12 different eagles. Now, Gabriella is wondering how big are the eagle's wings. Or again, Gabriella, it depends on which eagle. The martial eagle is our biggest eagle and has the biggest wingspan, and that's 2 meters, which is 6'7", 6'8", somewhere around there. So a very big wingspan. That's both sets of wings, and so even bigger than me, and I'm 6'3". Okay, now we're still hoping that we might find a leopard. Marley would like to know, can one type of animal eat the same type of animal? Marley, I think you must be talking like an impala or something. Yes, lions, leopards, hyenas, wild dogs, cheetah can all eat the same type of animal depending on what animal it is. Okay, so we're back to looking for leopard footprints. Now that the chase after the vultures proved to be a bit of a wild goose chase. Oh, no, don't run. They'll always run, the little guys. There he goes. Another little Steenbok. And eagles will eat Steenbok from time to time, especially the big ones like the martial eagle. Wait, stop there now. You got it? There we go. So that's not a baby, that's an adult Steenbok. It's a little male, we can see his little horns. Now, they can be quite shy, because when you're little, everything wants to eat you, so it pays to be a little bit on the scared side. Now, these little antelope, they don't need water, so they get enough water from what they eat, and if they don't, then they'll dig out tubes and bulbas and get their water from there. They'll also drink dew off the leaves in the early morning, so they never get very dry. It makes them an incredibly hardy species, and they can survive in some of the driest parts of Africa. It's got an itch. Katie would like to know, how can you tell all the different animals from each other? Well, Katie, because they all look different. So the Steenbok's small and he's got small straight horns. The Impala's bigger, even though he's a similar color, but his horns go out like this, and he's got lighter color on his tummy. I could tell because I've learned the difference between all the different animals, Katie. See, there we go, there's another Impala. Now, Michaela says, because if the birds have big wings, does it make them go faster? Not necessarily, Michaela. What those wings are there to do is for soaring. So it makes them fly with using less energy. So they're able to catch wind like a glider, and then they glide instead of flapping all the time. Here we go. You can see the Impala's got black stripes on his bum. So that's another way to tell the Impala. Bye, Impala, we're looking for leopard. Okay, well, we're going to keep moving on. While we do that, let's go see if Byron's found something else on foot.
Now, I was asked earlier about finding tracks in the sand or footprints in the sand. Is it easy? And I found some footprints over here, and I'd like to show you these ones first. Have a look at this. And let me draw a circle around it so you can see. And look at that track. Now, this is from a rather big animal, and one that we do have to look out for when we are walking around. And this is from a buffalo. So a buffalo has walked through here, not just one, been a few of them. It's quite interesting. Nice to see a buffalo track around here. And then there's another track that I'd like to show you, a very exciting one. Have a look at this. Now, let me draw a little circle around this one. There, look at that. That is a very clear lion track, everyone. So this lion, I think, walked past here yesterday or the day before. This is not a fresh lion track, but it is a beautiful, beautiful lion track, and I'll show you clearly now. You can see this is the back pad of the lion, so the palm of the lion, if you think of it like your hand, that's the back pad over there. And then it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 toes. Look at that. So we know this lion was walking that way because of the way the track is facing. But look how big that track is, almost the size of my hand. But this is from a female. Now I can tell it's from a female because it's a lot smaller than a male lion. A male lion's track would be much, much bigger. Probably about that size, much rounder, much bigger than this female's track. But that's a beautiful, beautiful track of a female lion. So that's wonderful. Lovely to see the track. Bianca, you wanted to know if the big cats eat their own babies. No, Bianca, they wouldn't. Especially, lions and leopards, they look after their young very, very carefully. They would never kill or potentially harm their own babies or their own young. Now, with lions within a pride, what happens is you'd have a number of females, and that's a group of lions. It's called a pride of lions. You'd have a number of females, and usually they all have young or babies at the same time. And what that means is that all the lionesses will try and look after the babies, which is very, very interesting to see. But they know that those youngsters or those babies will potentially then grow up and be part of that pride, so they need to look after them when they're young. So the females would not attack them or harm them in any way, unless they came across lions or babies which were not theirs from other lions, then maybe. But generally the females always look after the young very, very well. And Tristan, you wanted to know how old can lions get? So lions can get to roughly, for females, about 15 to 17 years old. It's usually an average of about 15 years old, which would be old for a lioness. And then the males, they generally on average only get to about 10 or 12 years old, so much less than the females. But that's considered a long lifetime for lions. Let us carry on and see what else we can find. I'm trying to have a look around to see if we can find any more interesting tracks to show you, or footprints of animals that might have walked through the area. Giuliani, you would like to know how many species are there in Africa? Now, Giuliani, animal species alone, there are many, many different. I don't even know the exact number, because the species just found in other don't get here. Now, if you consider, now this gets a little bit complicated, but what happens is, for example, this area that we are in, okay, let's just take this little part of South Africa that we are situated in. We've got about 7 or 8 different species of antelope. Okay, then we've got animals like elephant, buffalo, we've got zebra, we've got giraffe, then some of the predators, lion, leopard, cheetah. That's already about 15 or so, 15, 16, 17 different species. But then you've also got other little creatures, animals that come out at night that we found. That would take you to over 20 or so species. And then you've got animals like bats, which are also mammals, and there are many different species of those that are found around here. You've got hippopotamus, you've got crocodiles, so a lot of animals, species, and so it's very difficult to say, and that's just in this area. Then if you go out into other areas, you get
Well, I'm still trying to figure out where Karula went, and sometimes the best way to do that is to get off the vehicle, get on Shank's pony, get a little bit closer to the ground. So the last I heard, the tracks were supposed to be in this area somewhere, but alas, I can't see them. There has been a tractor down the road today doing maintenance, which can make finding tracks a little bit difficult. But we can always pretend like and think like a leopard. No, can't see her from here. It was worth a try though. So there's a possibility. This is one of the larger areas in Djuma that doesn't have any roads behind the camera, and she does spend quite a bit of time in that area, and apparently the last tracks have gone in there. We have checked the southern boundary, so it might be worth taking a longer walk through that block a little bit later, see if we can find, and maybe she's got a kill up in a tree in that area. Now, Jandre likes falling over termite mounds apparently when he's on bushwalk. So Jandre, when going down termite mounds, try not to fall over. Okay, I've heard about some elephants toying between looking for Karula and the cubs and heading to the Ellies. Unfortunately, Jig is still having a bit of problems, but Byron's out there, so maybe let's go look at some Ellies. We'll come back and look for Karula a little later. Katie would like to know if the lions walk too much, will their paw pads come off? No, Katie, they're very, very tough, and so they're designed to be able to walk long distances without coming off. Now, Marley's asked actually a very interesting question, is that can a tamed animal become wild? It can, but not truly. So one of the biggest problems that happens is everyone thinks you can take a lion from a zoo or something like that and you just put it into the bush and it'll be fine. It will be fine, and you don't need to teach lions and leopards and things how to hunt. They know instinctively the best way to teach them how to hunt is let them get hungry, and then they will catch something. That's where the problem is, because tame animals have lost their natural fear of man. Normally the easiest thing to eat and the slowest thing out here is us. So the tame animal normally ends up eating a person. The other problem is that there are already lions here. So if you put another lion from a zoo here and he has to come up against one of the wild lions will kill him very quickly. So it is possible, but it's quite difficult. Now, Michaela would like to know, do we see certain animals in certain places? Yes, we do, Michaela. And we look for certain creatures in certain parts. Although you can find the animals anywhere, certain animals prefer certain areas. So certain antelope like dry riverbeds, the cheetah like big open plains to the east of us. And so you do look for certain animals in certain areas. Some animals can be anywhere, like elephant and leopard and lion. You can find them anywhere out here, as well as Impala. But Malibu, it's been great having you with us, and we're going to say toodaloo, and hopefully you'll join us on another exciting school drive with a bit more cats next time, hopefully. Bye! Well, welcome back to everyone else. I know you've been sitting with us for the school drives. Now it's time for your questions to get through. Use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter or the email address questions@WildEarthTV. We do apologize for the technicals we're having this afternoon. Hopefully we'll get them sorted as soon as possible. But till then, you're stuck with Jandre and I. I don't think too many people are going to complain about that. Jamie said she did see some elephants before her signal got funny down in this area, so we're going to go have a look right now. See if Aubrey was also looking for those elephants. I'm just going to check if he's found them. Aubrey.
Might be a lion log.
Oh, Jean-Ray thinks he's seen a lion log. Orbs, did you find those in Dwarf on scavengers? Confirm crossing to Cheetah. Copy, thanks. Jean, if this is a log, I might have to find a log to hit you with. What do we think out there, everyone? Has Jean spotted a log? Do we get to beat him with a stick? Or has he actually spotted something? Better be alive. What is it? Dun 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 dun. Not even a lion. What? That's just a big tree, Jean. Lion log. With a lot of imagination, a lion log, but we always have to check out those things because you never know. One day, Jean-Andre might actually spot a lion. Only joking. Of course, Jean-Andre spotted quite a few big cats in his time here. Okay, we're gonna go see if we can find these Ellies. While we do that, let's go see what the Byron's plans are for the afternoon.
So we're trying to find an area where we've got some better signal, but it's still very, very hot out here. And but I did manage to find some dwarf mongoose running through the brush. I'm trying to see if we can get a glimpse of them. Let's have a look. I mean, they are a lot more shy when you are on foot. There goes one. Hang on. We might see one from here. No, it's running away. They're very, very shy. They don't like us being on foot out here. But there are quite a few of them around. Every now and then we catch a little dark glimpse of a dwarf mongoose running through the brush. We are in a bit of a thicker area, so we just need to keep our eyes open for any potential animals around. We haven't seen fresh tracks of anything walking through the area. I mean, it was wonderful to see those lion tracks and buffalo tracks, but nothing fresh, nothing very recent. And so while we're walking, we're just still scanning and trying to see also if there's some interesting birds around. It's a nice area, this. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. Some wonderful large trees, a lot of big marula trees, like you can see over here. Oh, they're woodland kingfishers. Just through, and those 3 or 4 trees at the back there, I wonder if you can see them. It's a bit difficult to do the birding on a walk. See if they're still sitting there. Oh, they're just hiding behind some branches. They are sitting there, but I don't think we'd be able to show them to you. And Jared, you want to know if we get falcons in South Africa? We do indeed. Now I'm trying to think of all the species of falcons that we get. We get Eleonora's falcon, I think, peregrine falcon, pygmy falcon. What else? I think there's a sooty falcon. I don't have my bird app with me now. What else have we got? That's 4 species. We've got those are 4. Tighter falcon. That's 5. There are 5 or 6 species just that I can think of off the top of my head, but we do indeed have falcons down in southern Africa. Some of them beautiful, beautiful birds, or most of them, the falcons. And let's continue through here and see what else we can find. There's some broken branches around here and some stumps. So I'm going to try underneath here quickly. Let's have a look and see if there's anything under these little branches. Might get a little scorpion or nothing. Nothing under there. But I'm not going to give up just yet. Let's see. Nope, nothing there. It's kind of a hit or miss while looking under some of these little branches. It all depends on the area. It would help if we had some nice big rocks. You do get a lot of scorpions hiding under rocks and that. Here's some more elephant dung. And some more elephant dung, and we've been looking for elephant. But guess what? Brent, let's go and have a look.
Here we go. That's a tiny little elephant calf and mom. Probably a month or so old. Hello, little guy. I'm hoping they're going to move out into the open. We're going to stick with them. They're in a little bit of a thick area at the moment. And you can see we just missed them having a mud bath. Small herd. Oh, there we go, little one. I'd say probably maybe up to 10 animals in this group. Here comes some more at the back. There's a massive eagle argument going on. You can hear all the very strange calls and whistles. We saw that big group of lesser spotted and tawny eagles earlier. It's amazing sounds. Can you hear them, Chandra? Almost like a dog bark. And then you got that high-pitched, normal sort of raptor call. Just keep watching the sky up there in case we see an aerial battle. But the Ellies are going to be moving out into the open shortly. And we'll stick with them for a little longer. Hello, Mama. Playing with her trunk. Stretch that muscles. Stretch those muscles. And there's the little one. Quite a young female, so probably her first baby. And you can see she's a little bit nervous. But she's okay. See, watch her tail, watch the body language, she's fine. It's okay, Mama. Yes, yes, you're very scary. Okay, let's just turn around. So I seem to be having some radio issues. Look at that, little bit. I got left behind. Hi, Pete on Periscope. Pete would like to know, what are elephant trunks used for? Well, Pete, they're used for feeding, drinking, breathing. It's their nose. So, but it's a very specially adapted nose. It's got over 100,000 muscles in it, and it's able to pick up things. It's able to pluck things. It's got a prehensile tip, so it's used like a hand. It's used for sucking up to 8 liters of water into, and it can also be used to fling a naughty person into a tree if you get too naughty with the Ellies, but that doesn't happen too often, thankfully. As long as you drive carefully and walk carefully and respectfully around elephants, they normally give us no hassles whatsoever. So I'm just, because she's hopefully they will walk right up to the vehicle. It's always better to let them choose to let you into their space than force yourself into their space. And if they decide to walk away, then that's also fine. Here we go, that's mom with the baby. There's the little boy. But they're not 100% relaxed, so we're not going to keep pushing them. Now, in situations like this, they're fine at the moment, but if we kept pushing them, they might not be fine in 5 or 10 minutes. I'd rather just let them move off at their own pace. There's no need to put extra pressure on these incredible animals. Okay, just going to walk behind the car. See what I mean about giving them space so they can choose where to go? All I'm going to do is just... And always remember, always important, let the car run for a few seconds before you move. Let them get used to that noise. I'm just going to swing the car round a little bit so we can get a better view of her as she crosses. Here we go. Now Dre is wondering, will an elephant herd ever adopt a calf of another female if she dies? It has been recorded in the past, but it's very, very rare. Normally, if mom dies, that's the end of the road for the little one. Incoming, Jean-Dre. We're getting an evil eye from that young female. Oh, don't. There we go. So she's just trying to show us that she's big and tough, and we shouldn't mess with her. Don't worry, we're not going to mess with you. We're very scared. Can't you tell? See there, look at that elephant, look at that tail. You see that very erect tail? Sign that she's slightly uncomfortable. And then see, as she puts distance between herself and us, that tail goes down. But ears are still out. She's giving, there we go, she's down to feeding. Now, quite often with young elephants like that, it's not necessarily that they're very upset, or it's more of a display. I'm a big, tough elephant. Don't mess with me. But in general, there's something about this herd that's telling me that they're not the most relaxed. There is definitely something up. It could be because that mother's a new mother. But just by looking at her, she looks like she's quite young. It could be her first youngster. So they could have been split from a bigger herd and they're a little bit nervous till they find them again. So while they're relaxed and around us, no problem, but we're not going to keep following them. Don't want to put any extra pressure on them. Well, Pete Brent saying sometimes you've seen elephants flinging mud around. You can see that elephant's done a good job of flinging mud on her head. And it's to cool down. One, Pete, it also gets all the ticks and parasites encased in that mud. And when that mud falls out, the parasites fall out with them. So it's got multiple functions, cooling down and controlling parasites. In front of us, Chandra. There we go, another young female coming through. And you can see, even though they've chosen to give us a bit of a wide berth, which is no problem, as I said, certain herds will walk within half a foot of the car, others not so much, and also depends on the day. There we go, here comes the display again. We're very big, we're very tough. And they also, the way she does it, she's trying to maintain dominance and aggression, but she's also moving away at an oblique angle. So inadvertently, by still looking tough to us, she's actually also creating distance between her and us. So she's angling slightly away from us, and then see, as soon as she's past us, she calms down again. So shame. We're not going to spend any more time with these Ellies. Let's let them move off and carry on. Hopefully we'll find some more relaxed elephants a little later. Wonderful though to catch up with some Ellies. Now, for the birders out there, I'm going to try to see if I can go find those eagles that were making all the noise. So, waiting for the bird lists, those who are watching during the school show. Lesser spotted eagle, that should be a new one for a lot of your lists. Okay, I seem to be having some little radio issues again. Comms keep cutting out. Hopefully if I get a little bit higher, that'll stop. Are you getting comms, Andre? Hi, Bill. Bill would like to know, do birds see in colour? Indeed they do, Bill. Now, they do see in colour, and of course, especially it's very important if you're a fruit eater, and you don't want to go eat the wrong red berry, and you might not be around tomorrow. Okay, now, all those eagles are up ahead here. Now, there was a big fight going on. It could be argument over mating rights, but I'm going to get in a position where we can see these eagles. While we do that, it seems like Jigger is fixed and hopefully will be out for the rest of the drive, so let's go say hi to Jamie.
Alrighty, let us try this once again. A very good afternoon to all of you and welcome to the Jigger portion of this sunset safari. We do apologize for our prolonged absence. We were busy getting things sorted. This is the first time that Jigger has been out in a while, but luckily Alex has seen to it that she is now up and running. And I thought I'd just stop and show you this utterly adorable little Impala lamb. I feel as though all of a sudden they're just everywhere. From struggling to see them to seeing them around every corner, we've just got an explosion in population of tiny, wobbly, very gangly little antelope. And I'm hoping to spend a little bit of time with them this afternoon, watching them playing and scampering about. It could be highly entertaining. And I have to say I'm terribly impressed by the mother's ability also to return to their sleek figures almost straight away. And let's go and see if we can find a few more Impala lambs. But before we do that, just in case you missed the start of the Sunset Safari, my name is Jamie, and this afternoon, I have Gert on camera with me. This is when the sun sets, Jamie. That's the afternoon and the evening. Goodness. And we're going to be showing you some exciting things on our sunset safari. It's okay, Jigger. I know it's been a while, but I promise you she just feels a little bit off kilter. But we'll get her back into it. Jigger was one of the originals of the Safari Live team, and Jigger sort of went into retirement for a little bit. However, she is back up and running, sort of. Sometimes a little jerkily, but we are back up and running. Much like these little Impala lambs that I'm going to show you when we get to the next open spot. Where are you, little one? I saw you dash off here. One thing about them is they're all over the place at the moment, dashing up and down. I see you. You think you're hiding, but I see you. Hiding behind Mom there. Oh. Bye-bye. Wait, Mom. Oops, slightly overshot the mark. I love watching them. They're thoroughly entertaining. It's amazing how all of a sudden they're just everywhere. We've missed a few of the live births. Well, we must have. But at some point, I'm really hoping that we get the opportunity to see one of these little antelope being born. Okay, I'm going to try one more loop of this area. Hopefully they're going to pop out there and we can watch them play and scamper and learn a little bit before we go off in search of other things to show you. And since we're here, is anybody home? On a day like today, just checking the Wahlberg's nest. That is, have you seen which one is the Wahlberg's nest, Kat? Yeah, thank you. They did actually have two in this tree. And sometimes when we come through, one of the Wahlbergs is sitting on the nest. I think on a day like today, they don't need to be bothered too much with keeping them warm. And in fact, now that it's a little bit cloudier and the sun is not beating down, they don't have to worry about shading their eggs either. Because of course, that's one of the big problems for birds out here. It's not necessarily keeping your eggs warm, it's keeping them cool. Because in the heat of the sun, temperatures are going to go very, very high. And good afternoon, I got it right this time, to Debbie. Speaking about raptors, you wanted to know if one raptor will ever attack another raptor's nest. The only raptor that might do that, and even then it's likely to go for some of the smaller raptors rather than risk attack from the larger ones, is potentially a harrier hawk, just because they are specialized nest raiders. They have learned they've got double jointed legs in order to reach backwards into holes in the trees, and they are specially adapted for nest raiding. That's their diet. Oh, little ones. The little babies are so panicky. Okay, let's try one more time, but if they won't let us get any closer. The females are quite relaxed, but as soon as the babies run, then the adults run. And of course, they've never seen us before. They've never seen anything before. Sorry, Debbie. Distraction by little Impala. There's one there. And just to finish off your question, Debbie, even then a harrier hawk is unlikely to attack a raptor's nest. Now, speaking of raptors and birds of prey, these little Impala are still small enough, even though they are fast on their feet, they're still small enough to be a potential meal for one particular raptor, and that is the martial eagle. And there should be some on the right there. There we go. There's a little one. Look. Hello, gorgeous. A martial eagle is the only animal that is bigger than big enough to actually tackle the little baby Impala. Hey, little one. And James Bear, you want to know what is the predation rate of these baby Impala? High. I'm still struggling to find an exact percentage, but they are obviously a very easy meal for a great deal of predators out here. Whether it is the martial eagle, leopards, wild dogs, they are so very... Whoa! Vulnerable, although they don't look at the way they're dashing around. Look at that, they're already instinctively stotting, except this little one. This little one's just standing to watch. And they look so terribly thin looking, and that's partly as a result of the dry season. Their moms have done so well to actually bear them to full term, but also just because that's how baby Impala are born. They have to sacrifice a little bit of bulk in order to have the long legs, in order to keep up with mom. When mom runs away, their little legs have to be long enough to match her speed. Where have these little dashing creatures gone? Are they still bouncing around in here, or have they stopped? That one stopped as well. See what I mean? They're just everywhere. All these new smells. One of the things that we've been really hoping, as I mentioned earlier, really hoping to see is a birth of one of these Impala live. Lionheart, you want to know if the mummy Impala, if the female, I'm in school mode still, if the female Impala will go off on her own to give birth, or hop, 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 or if she will stay with the rest of the herd for protection. And generally they do move off a little way away from the rest of the herd, and the reason they do that is because of something known as pregnancy hysteria. So with all of the hormones involved during labor and the smells and so on, having a load of Impala around her, particularly the rams, who of course we've seen a lot how they've mistaken what's happening at the moment for a sign that the females are coming into estrus, because apparently they can't tell the difference. Now, it's safer for the ewe to go and give birth unharassed, and particularly by a male with something else on his mind. But accidents do happen, so they don't have any, despite what rumors say, they don't have any degree of control over the birthing process. Now, they do occasionally accidentally just they go into labor before they've had a chance to remove themselves from the rest of the herd. And they're usually not too far. Oh, spot the intruder. Not intruder, that's the wrong word. Spot the difference. Nyala have just walked into their midst. You can imagine what it's like. There we go, there's a vast difference in terms of size with the Nyala bull walking in. He's also got something on his mind. He's checking out that female. I'm going to stick around a little bit longer with these little Impala, just to watch their antics and see if they'll get closer to us. While I do, Brent has found a bird in a tree.
Well, I found the bird. There's the one confused vulture who thought there might be a kill. Now, there's a mixture of two eagle species here. Unfortunately, the clouds come in and it's made it a bit difficult. We just want to look at the back tree. Now, there looks to be Tawny and lesser spotted eagle, and I can't see, there might even be a steppe eagle. Fortunately, the light is quite bad at the moment. And so, there we go. In the middle there, that's the lesser spotted. Up top, looks to be a Tawny, and there's another lesser spotted to the left. And bottom also looks to possibly be a Tawny. And there's a hooded vulture to the left, sorry. So there we go, another confused vulture. And there were battaliers, vultures, there was all sorts around. Okay, well, let's keep going. I just heard a report from Jamie. Jamie, confirm which side you're going to approach that from. Copy, I'll go further down towards Cello Pan, give you a hand. So Jamie's got monkeys alarm calling, which is a great sign. Monkeys don't lie. When they start going, they're saying either lion or leopard. So let's get down there. Jamie's going to check from that side. We're going to go a little bit further to the south and check backwards. Because monkeys' eyesight's very good. They can actually see from quite far. So who knows? Maybe the queen is about. So while Jamie and I descend towards where the monkeys are alarm calling, hopefully our pincer movement will produce a big cat. Let's go see what Byron's up to on foot.
So while Brent follows up on those monkeys, I've come to have a look at a beautiful silver cluster leaf. But what I've found very interesting, this section of it has been eaten and fed on by termites and beetles and bugs. But what's interesting is at the moment there's a whole bunch of little millipedes hiding in this bark, in this tree. Now this is very, very interesting. There's one over there, and I'll have a look. I can show you over here. Look, there's a whole bunch in there too. That's very interesting. I don't know why they're all up here, Now, my theory though is we've spoken about this before, and some cultures believe, and they believe that these little millipedes are a good sign that there's potentially going to be rain. And what they do is, if they do sense rain, they'll climb up on top of little trees and they'll hide on the branches. And I wonder if these millipedes can't sense rain at the moment, because if you have a look, there's a lot of cloud cover, the wind is building up, and I'm assuming that perhaps there might be rain on the way, and maybe that's why these millipedes have all gone into that silver cluster leaf and they're hiding in the bark of the tree. I thought I could hear some birds alarm calling, but I think it's just the camp. Oh, hang on, he's stuck there. There we go. VM just getting a bit stuck with his antenna. Now we've come out onto the clearings not far from camp again. It's always wonderful to walk around here because there's a lot of interesting things going on. I thought I saw something in this silver cluster leaf earlier. Let's have a look. There it is. I think from here, VM, might have a good view. And have a look at this. This is interesting. A little piece of sand ball. From this angle, you might be able to see it. Have you got it there? Now have a look at that. That's built by wasps. Species of wasp where they take soil and they build their nests out of the sand up against branches, sometimes against buildings and that too. You get different species of wasps that do that. And these ones build these round little nests up against branches in trees, and that's built from a wasp. Isn't that interesting? Very, very interesting. It's amazing, and I mean that's really, really high. We can hardly see it, but there are amazing little creatures that build nests and homes in trees, and you only really get to see it if you look very, very carefully, and if you're out walking around looking for these little creatures. And let's continue through the clearing and see what other interesting little things we can find. I'm thinking with all this wind, however, all this wind that's picked up, we're probably going to see a lot fewer insects flying around or like we saw earlier. Earlier we had a lot of little grasshoppers and so on jumping about, but at the moment I don't see many of them. And I think it's got to do with the weather changing. The humidity is definitely picked up, but the temperature has dropped slightly from earlier this afternoon. You know what, there's a wonderful broken stump in front of us. Let's go and investigate there. Maybe we see some more creatures trying to take shelter in the bark of this tree. This is from this big marula tree that this stump has fallen off, this branch. This could be quite interesting. Let's have a look here. It looks like a lot of activity. Wow, I'm just going to lift this a little bit, but look at that. That's all done by termites. Look how they've broken down this huge, huge branch. It's incredible. Now I'm having a look. I don't see any activity of creatures on the surface, but it's amazing how much soil is packed around this area, all by the termites. Very, very interesting, and network of tunnels all burrowing underneath and breaking down this dead plant material, and obviously that is the role of the termites. Nothing under there though, but let's have a look. It's always interesting just to really scan carefully and have a look. You might get, you do get little creatures like centipedes and scorpions, as we've seen in the past, all trying to live and hide in these areas. Now have a look at this. This is interesting, and I think this is signs of another animal. Have a look in here. And I don't want to stick my finger in there, but you can see little rings. Can you see that? Now those are the rings of millipedes and broken up millipede bodies. And what I think has happened is scorpions, or a scorpion, has been busy feeding on millipedes inside there, and I think that's what has caused all those little rings. What happens is they feed on the body itself. They don't really feed on the exoskeleton, so the exoskeleton remains are left behind. You sometimes see it with civets when they eat, or in the dung you'll often see little rings of the exoskeleton of the millipedes. But I think what this is exactly that. Scorpions have been feeding on millipedes inside there, or a scorpion, and that's what's caused that. Isn't that interesting? Okay, we're going to continue our search through the clearing, see if we can't find the actual insects that are leaving these signs behind. Let's head back to Jamie and get an update from her.
Well, last time you saw me, I said that I would be sticking with the Impala herd to see whether or not they came closer, and I got completely distracted by the alarm calls of a troop of monkeys that are in what we call the Mulwati, which is a big sort of dry riverbed that runs right through the center of Djuma. And I found the monkeys, and it wasn't quite the proper frantic call that they give when there's a leopard in the area. It was one of them just sort of half-heartedly going, oh, well, I don't know how to do that particular call. Gert, how's your monkey impression? And inevitably end up sounding a lot like Donald Duck. But when I did get down into, because I jumped off the car and I went sort of walking at a very rapid pace. I wasn't running, but I was walking relatively quickly into the drainage to see whether or not there was a leopard hanging out there. And when I did get down there, they immediately came down the tree and ran along the ground away from me, which almost immediately tells me that it's not a leopard. If it were a leopard in the area, they would be all frantically looking in that area. But let's keep checking this drainage line anyway, just in case they have popped out somewhere here. Now, all the way along this wall, we're going to be checking out down into this dip. Let's go nice and slowly and see if we can't spot at least the monkeys that were alarm calling. No, that sounded like Donald Duck again. No, that was, I don't know what that was. There were also some very, very relaxed looking Nyala. Okay. No sign of them there. Let's go and see if we can't catch up with them on the other side of the drainage line. Or riverbed, depending on which terminology you want to use. Come on, Jigger. You can do it. Oh, there we go, girl. Must feel nice for old Jigger to be back on the road once again. She is, of course, a car and therefore inanimate, but, you know, we spend so much time with them, it becomes almost automatic to think of them as not just a thing. Right, where was I? I know where I was on that side. These monkeys must be somewhere. Let's see if I can spot the Nyala, then I'll know where the monkeys were. Must have been round about here. Where are you hiding, little monkeys? Now, monkeys are incredibly sharp-eyed, and they're usually a very useful animal when it comes to finding other animals like leopards and lions. I mean, we enjoy them just for the sake of finding monkeys, and that's why I'm trying to find them now. But I think that particular monkey was probably alarm calling at a snake. Or no, not a slender mongoose, it would have been a snake. Slender mongoose definitely not be a threat to monkeys. I'm thinking of squirrels. A snake or a bird of prey, but I didn't see a bird of prey coming through. No, sorry. They've all gone to ground right in the dried up riverbed. Okay, so the search to break the cat streak continues. We spoke this morning about what could count. We said definitely little cats, wild cats, serval, caracal, you never know. Something like that would definitely count as towards our cat streak, our unbroken, as until today, unbroken cat streak, but the clock is ticking to find one before the time runs out on our sunset safari. We were nearly on day 80, big round number. But we did have a long and involved discussion about what counts as a cat. Kit Kat, for example, was one suggestion. Caterpillar. What was the other one? The catamaran, I think, is probably unlikely. Kit Kat, I said. Caterpillar, I said. There's one other that is actually within the realms of possibility. A cat. Meerkat. Oh no, that's not within the realms of possibility at all. That's very unlikely, unless that meerkat is very lost. Meerkats, of course, are the desert relatives of the mongoose. Well, since there's no big cats, let us... flew away. Animals have gone into hiding today. I wanted to show you a starling, but it flew away.